Have you ever felt like you're doing everything right, but still feel trapped? Like you're moving, but you not go anywhere? What if I told you that freedom isn't just about escaping or having a fat bank account? It's something deeper. Something most people chase their whole lives, without even knowing what it really means. Today, we're diving into the key to freedom, and I promise you, this might just change the way you see your life. Welcome to Brain Vital Channel. If you're new here, we're so glad you found us. This is your go-to spot for easy, powerful tips to grow stronger, smarter, and succeed in life. Tired of being pushed around? Want to feel unstoppable and in control? Ready to discover the game-changing secrets that can take you to the next level? Smash that subscribe button, and don't forget to hit the bell, so you're always in the loop when we drop new videos. This isn't just fun, it's about unlocking your true power. You have a choice. Stay where you are or step up and become the best version of yourself. Now let's continue. Let's be honest in the time we're kids. We're told that freedom is the ultimate goal. And what does the world say freedom looks like? A big house, a high-paying job, exotic vacations, a car that turns heads, success, status, money. But here's the thing no one really tells you. That version of freedom is often just another form of control. We're bombarded every day with messages. Buy this and you'll be free. Work hard, hustle harder, and one day you'll be able to live life on your own terms. But this is marketing. It's not truth. Because if your sense of freedom depends on what you own or what you earn or how others see you, then you're not free. You're just leasing the illusion and someone else owns the contract. Now let's talk about comfort. A steady paycheck, a daily routine, a familiar relationship. Even if it's not really growing you, that stuff feels safe. It feels secure. It feels easy. But here's the quiet truth most people never question. Comfort can become a very soft cage. You can live your whole life in it, never realizing the door was never locked, you just stopped reaching for the handle. Not all prisons have walls. Some look like office desks. Some sound like, I have to do this, I don't have a choice. Some feel like the fear of disappointing your parents or society, or even yourself. You might have all the freedom on paper, good job, no one tell you what to do, and still feel deeply trapped inside. Trapped by anxiety. Trapped by the pressure to keep up. Trapped by the fear of starting over. Trapped in relationships that no longer nourish your soul. So many of us are stuck in cycles we didn't choose, we just inherited them. And the longer we stay, the more normal it feels. Take a moment and ask yourself, am I actually free or just familiar with my cage? What parts of your life feel like a choice, and what parts feel like a script someone else wrote for you? I'm not saying any of this to judge. In fact, I've been there. I confused busyness for purpose. I've chased things that I thought would free me, only to end up more exhausted than before. But I've also learned that the first step toward real freedom is seeing the illusion for what it is. Slavery is not always chains and whips. Sometimes it's a silent agreement to stay small. Let's talk about something we don't see but feel every day. Not chains around our wrists, not bars in front of our faces, but invisible prisons, ones built in the mind. And here's the truth most people miss. The biggest kind of slavery isn't physical. It's mental. It's emotional. It's when your thoughts control you more than you control them. Think about it. How many times have you held back from doing something you truly wanted, not because you couldn't, but because you were afraid of failing, or afraid of what people might say? That's not freedom. That's fear making the decision for you. Self-doubt? It's like an internal bully always whispering that you're not good enough, not ready, not worthy. People-pleasing? That's when you wear a mask every day. Saying yes when you mean no. Staying quiet when your soul wants to speak. All just to be accepted. And limiting beliefs? That's when you told yourself a lie for so long. You start to believe it. I can't do that. People like me don't make it. It's too late. These are the bars. These are the walls. You might be free to walk, but are you free to think? Free to feel? Free to be? The truth is, most of us didn't choose these prisons. They were handed to us. As kids, we absorb what we were told. If you grew up being criticized more than encouraged, you probably learned to shrink yourself to stay safe. If you saw people struggle and settle, you might have thought, that's just how life is. Schools taught us to follow rules. Society told us to chase status. Culture said this is who you're supposed to be. And we believed it, not because we were weak, but because we were human. What was built in your mind can be broken in your mind. You are not your past. You are not your fear. You're not the small voice telling you to stay in your place. You are capable of thinking new thoughts, feeling new emotions, becoming a version of yourself you've never met yet. But it takes honesty, it takes courage, and it takes a willingness to unlearn what you've been taught. That's where real freedom begins. So, let me ask you, what lie have you been believing about yourself? And are you ready to let it go? You might be free to walk, but are you free to think? Free to feel? Free to be? When most people hear the word freedom, they think of external things. No boss, no deadlines, enough money to go wherever, do whatever. And yes, those things can give you a certain kind of freedom, but real, lasting, unshakable freedom, that begins somewhere else. It begins within you. You can't break free from what you can't see. So many of us are stuck in patterns, fears, habits, cycles, and we don't even realize it. We react without thinking. We chase goals that were never truly ours. We live lives designed by other people's expectations. Have you ever stopped to ask, why do I do what I do? Whose voice is guiding my decisions, mine or someone else's? Am I living by design or just drifting through the fog? Self-awareness means noticing, observing, questioning. It's when you start catching your automatic thoughts. It's when you start recognizing your emotional triggers. It's the moment you realize, I have the power to choose how I respond. And that is where freedom begins. Here's something no one can ever take away from you, your power to choose. Your response, your beliefs, your direction. Even if your outside world feels chaotic, your inner world can stay grounded. You can't always choose what happens to you, but you can choose how you respond. You might not control the economy or your past, but you can choose what you believe about yourself today. You might not have all the answers, but you can choose the next right step toward your peace, your truth. A lot of us are trapped, not by walls, but by the weight of other people's opinions. We're trying to live up to images we didn't choose. Be the perfect student, the successful entrepreneur, the obedient child, the likable friend. But here's a freeing truth. You don't owe the world a version of yourself that makes everyone comfortable. You owe it to yourself to live in alignment with your own values. When you live in alignment, it means your choices, actions, and goals are based on what matters to you, not what impresses others. That's when you stop chasing and start living. That's when anxiety fades and peace begins to grow. So yes, freedom begins within. It's not something you stumble across. It's something you wake up to. It starts with awareness, grows with choice, and blossoms when you start walking in your own truth. Because when your mind is free, when your heart is aligned, no one can imprison your soul. And that is a kind of freedom no one can ever take from you. If freedom begins within, then breaking the chains is about freeing yourself from the things that quietly steal your peace, your potential, and your power. And often, those chains aren't visible. They don't rattle. They're silent but heavy. In this part of the video, I want to humbly walk with you through some practical but powerful steps that can slowly begin to set you free. This isn't just about owning less. It's about making space for what truly matters. Many of us are overwhelmed not because we have too little, but because we have too much that doesn't serve us. Clothes we don't wear, apps we don't use, friendships that drain instead of nourish, tasks that don't align with our purpose. Minimalism isn't about living in an empty room. It's about removing distractions so your life can finally speak clearly. Debt and financial stress are some of the most common chains people carry. True financial freedom isn't about being rich, it's about having control. It's not needing to say yes to every job or every offer out of fear. Learn to live beneath your means, build slowly, and create breathing room. When your money works for you instead of you working for your money, freedom begins to whisper in your ear again. Many of us are living today based on wounds from yesterday. Emotional chains look like fear of abandonment, fear of failure, guilt, resentment, people-pleasing, and unhealed trauma. Healing doesn't mean pretending it never hurt. It means choosing not to let it control you anymore. Healing is not weakness. It's the strongest, bravest kind of freedom there is. If you can't say no, your yes has no power. Boundaries are not walls. They're gates. They let in what aligns and gently keep out what doesn't. Protecting your time, energy, and values is essential, not selfish. You don't owe anyone access to you if it costs you your peace. Freedom respects itself and teaches others how to do the same. Without purpose, we drift. We let life happen to us instead of creating a life with meaning. Discovering purpose isn't always about big dreams or grand careers. Sometimes it's about showing up authentically, serving others, creating beauty, telling the truth, or healing generational pain. Your purpose is already in you. Freedom comes when you stop ignoring it. The most dangerous lie is that your life doesn't matter. Because when you believe that, you settle, and settling is the silent killer of freedom. One of the biggest chains? Needing others to approve before you can breathe. We dress a certain way, speak a certain way, hide parts of ourselves just to stay accepted. But real freedom is when you love yourself enough to be fully seen, even if not everyone claps for you. If being liked means shrinking who you are, is it really worth it? Every choice comes from either fear or alignment with your true values. Fear says, don't speak up. Values say, tell the truth with love. Fear says, you'll fail. Values say, try anyway because it matters. Fear says, stay quiet, stay safe. Values say, lie boldly, even if it's messy. Real freedom is not the absence of fear, it's choosing truth in spite of it. Freedom isn't something you find on the outside. It's what remains when you finally let go of everything that's not really you. So the question isn't just, what's holding you back? It's, what are you willing to release so that you can rise? Freedom is a daily choice. It's not a destination, it's a way of living. Let's talk about something that's often misunderstood, the idea that freedom is something we'll eventually arrive at. That one day, after enough hustle, enough saving, enough success, we'll be free. But the truth is, freedom is not a destination. It's not something that happens later. It's a way of living right here, right now. Every single day, we're making choices. Some small, some big, but all of them are either taking us one step closer to the life we truly want, or they're slowly binding us to the one we don't. When you say yes to something you don't believe, and you're giving away a piece of your freedom. When you avoid speaking your truth to keep the peace, you're choosing comfort over liberation. When you ignore your dreams because of fear, you're choosing the safety of the cage. These choices don't always look like bondage, but over time, they build walls around you. Courage is the gatekeeper to real freedom. Why? Because freedom demands that you step into the unknown. It asks you to walk away from what's normal. It asks you to trust yourself, even when no one else does. Courage is what lets you say, no, this path isn't for me. Yes, I will pursue what lights me up even if I fail. I'd rather be misunderstood than live a life that's not mine. That kind of courage doesn't come from ego. It comes from alignment, from a quiet knowing deep inside that your life was meant for more than just fitting in or surviving. You don't have to make huge moves overnight. Freedom isn't always about quitting your job or moving to a new country. Sometimes it's as simple as saying what you really feel, taking 30 minutes a day to work on your dream, choosing rest over burnout, speaking your boundaries with love. These are the small, daily acts that begin to build a free life. If you're not living freely today, ask yourself what choices are holding me back. What am I choosing out of fear? And what could I choose instead out of faith? Nobody has it all figured out. Freedom is a journey, and we're all learning as we go. But if you can be honest with yourself even just a little more each day, you're already on the path. Freedom isn't out there, it's in here. But only if you're brave enough to claim it. So ask yourself, are you living or just surviving? Are you free or just used to chains? We spend so much of our lives looking for freedom out there in money, in success, in travel, in relationships. We chase it through status, through validation, through things we think will finally make us feel alive. But here's the truth that's hard to accept. Freedom was never out there. It's in here. Touch chest. Inside. In your mind. In your heart. In your spirit. And yet, most people never feel free. Not because the world is holding them back, but because fear is. Fear of judgment. Fear of failure. Fear of being different. So we shrink. We stay silent. We follow the crowd. Why? Because it's easier. It's safer. But freedom, true freedom, requires courage. It means standing up for yourself, even when your voice shakes. It means walking a path that not everyone will understand. It means letting go of who you're supposed to be, so you can become who you really are. That kind of freedom can't be given. It has to be claimed, with boldness, with humility, with intention. So, be honest with yourself for a moment. Are you truly living, or are you just surviving? Are you waking up with purpose, or just going through the motions? Are you creating your life, or just reacting to it? Because there's a difference. Surviving is about avoiding pain. Living is about pursuing truth, even when it's hard. Surviving is driven by fear. Living is fueled by freedom. And here's the part that hits deep. Some of us think we're free, but we're really just used to the chains, used to settling, used to hiding, used to saying yes when we mean no, used to playing small. We've worn the chains so long, they've started to feel like jewelry. But just because you're comfortable doesn't mean you're free. True freedom, it's raw, it's real, it's uncomfortable sometimes, but it's also liberating beyond words. So I'll leave you with this. Freedom isn't something you find. It's something you remember, something you return to, and it starts right here. Touch chest again. Don't be afraid to open the door. You might just find yourself on the other side. Now think about this. What does freedom really mean to you? Are you truly free, or are you just comfortably caged? Who or what has the most control over your life right now? What's stopping you from doing what you love? Is it money, fear, or someone else's expectations? If you had nothing to prove, what would you choose to do with your life? Drop a key in the comments if you're ready to unlock your freedom. Share this with someone who needs to hear this, because freedom is too powerful to keep yourself.